guess I'll cover that topic first. Yeah, I'm troubled anytime anybody that's involved with our team conducts themselves in a way that sheds a negative light on our team or our university. We take that seriously. Our players, everybody involved in our program needs to understand that they don't just represent themselves, they represent our team and the University of Nebraska, the athletic department, and the whole state. That's a lot of responsibility, but there's a lot of benefit that come along with being a player at the University of Nebraska too, and disappointed anytime there's a negative light shown on any pieces of our university or athletic department. In regards to Maurice specifically, we hope we gain a lot more clarity on the matter real soon. To my knowledge, that process is moving along. Hopefully we'll get more clarity on soon. We're trying to keep him in as close to a normal routine as a student athlete as we can in the meantime. I think anytime anybody in our team behaves in a way that isn't consistent with the values of our team or our university, they run the risk of losing playing time or putting their status on the team in jeopardy. But to me, it's important to have a complete understanding of the situation before that decision's made. And just to be clear, that decision isn't made by me. It's made by myself in conjunction with administration and the university. So that's where we stand right now. I don't know a whole lot more about it.
What's the definition of limited practice?
He's going to be a part of what we're doing out there. Just won't be doing as much as he might be doing. He has a lot of other things to worry about right now, and we're going to facilitate that to try to cooperate with the investigation, everything that's going on.
So he'll do something at each practice?
I don't know if it'll be at each practice. Again, that probably depends on some of the details of what's going on with his investigation, and we're going to cooperate any way we can.
I know hindsight's 20/20. When you think about the way the fall transpired, was there something you wish you had done differently, or his initial representative had done differently?
No, just to clarify some of that, I knew very little about this in the fall. I'm not sure how much any of us, well, I do know, we didn't know very much about it. The extent of what we knew is that he was contacted for an interview. One of the members of our staff was contacted for an interview by the Attorney General of Nebraska. At that time, several of us on the second floor had a relationship with the former Attorney General of Nebraska, and we contacted him to represent him in that questioning. At that time, all I knew was it was a matter that took place when he was in high school, and the impression I was given was it wasn't something they thought would elevate to a level that required any more action by us. The next I heard about it was in January, so I don't know what anybody could have done any different in the fall.
Scott, what would you say to someone who's, when you look at it, there's a lot of details that were involved in what happened last fall, but the perception might be out there among some people that some of this unfolded the way it did to keep them out there in the fall. I guess what would you say to that?
That's completely not true. Anytime there's an investigation or our players are questioned in any way, it's our job to step back and let the legal process run its course, cooperate any way we can. There weren't any charges in the fall. I knew the little that was told to me in the fall, and that was that he was wanted for questioning, and knew very little beyond that. And I don't think it's my place to do investigations. In fact, that's where a lot of people get themselves in trouble. This will run its course and justice will be served. But again, I don't think anybody could have done anything different last fall.
On the football part of it, what's the biggest difference you see when you stepped out there Monday for the first spring practice when you compare it to a year ago?
Yeah, compared to last year, the two things that stood out to me, practice one, was number one, the guys knew where to go. We weren't teaching everything for the very first time, and we weren't teaching guys where to line up in drills, where to line up in stretch, how we want them to be dressed, what the names of the plays were, what the signals were. it kind of took off from a point that looked a lot like the end of fall camp last year from that standpoint, with guys having a familiarity with what we're doing and our processes. The second big difference is just the strength and conditioning levels of our team. Zach Duvall and his staff are the best in the country. In my opinion, our guys have gained an average of 100 pounds in their lower leg strength in the squat, over 50 pounds per man on average. Upper body put on close to 10 pounds per man of lean muscle. They're in better shape. They can run longer. They can practice like we want them to practice a lot more efficiently. And that was obvious in day one of spring ball. So hopefully we're starting at a lot better place than we started last year.
What do you make of your running back situation right now? I know you've got guys on the way, but, with Maurice, but also other guys. How does it sit with you at this point?
Yeah, we're thin at a bunch of positions, and we will be until we get the incoming freshmen in. Even when we get them in, we're still not going to be as deep as I'd like at a few positions. Said this all along that I don't think there was a quick fix that at every spot or at every area of need that we can address in one recruiting cycle or even two. It's a process, but we're in a lot better place. A running back specifically, with Maurice being limited, Jalen Bradley's on scholarship, Wyatt Mazur was a walk-on that we put on scholarship, and the rest of the guys out there are walk-ons. So we're not very deep at that spot in spring. The guys that we have did a great job in day one, and we are hopeful we'll add to that depth come fall with the incoming guys.
Will Miles Jones and Wandell Robinson, will they do much running back, or will they be more receiver-based this spring?
I think Miles and Wandell both be primarily receivers. That being said, both of them took some reps at running back yesterday. Those are the kind of guys that we expect to be able to play multiple positions, slot, hopefully outside receiver, and some in the backfield too. I thought both guys had a really good day one.
Scott, can you talk about your new assistant coach and why you hired him?
Tony's a great addition. We were sad to lose Coach Dawson. He was an important part not just of our team but of our family. Tony is as good a guy as we can hire to bring in here. We talked to a lot of people, interviewed a lot of people. There were some really quality people we interviewed, some really talented people we interviewed. We just felt like Tony was the best fit. The two things I was looking for more than anything were a good technician that was going to get his position group playing with technique and playing hard. So good technician, and number two, just a good man that fits in with our staff. We got a lot of high character guys on our coaching staff, and I think Tony fits in from that standpoint really well.
Just what a couple of guys said about they turn in their phones during team meetings. Just what behind that decision, and you think that will maybe lead to more attentiveness?
No, we're not going to be a police state around here where guys can't have phones and can't have social media and those types of things unless it becomes an issue in the meeting. If they're getting phone calls in meetings or staring at their phone in the meeting, we want them dialed in. So I wouldn't read too much into that. We haven't had a problem with that. But particularly a couple guys' meetings and maybe special team and team, if the phone goes off or they're talking to their mom during the meeting, we're going to address it.
Scott, how do you look at the safety spot? You had 3 seniors who departed. What do you make of that crop that you have there? I think Cam Taylor mentioned he was working at both corner and safety to start.
Yeah. Again, with guys graduating, there's depth issues at certain spots. That being said, I think the DB group has come a long way from when we first got to Nebraska. We got some guys coming back with a bunch of experience in the secondary. I think we got multiple people in the secondary that can play more than one spot. Cam Jones, Cam Taylor. I think Lamar could potentially play more than one spot. D-Cap if we needed him to. I think we have a lot of flexibility at that spot, and our depth in the secondary is pretty good considering the number of guys we lost. So I was really pleased with where the defensive backs picked up, and again, we're adding a bunch of guys come fall at that position that should make the depth even better.
Scott, how do you want to see Adrian improve over the spring season?
Number one thing Adrian's got to do is be the leader of the team. He's going to be, whether he wants to or not, just because of the position he plays and how well he played last year. He can't back into that. He's got to take it on, accept it, and embrace it. He's naturally going to be one of our leaders, but I want to see it go beyond that. I want to see him be the guy that's setting the tone for the entire offense and the entire team. His play on the field is going to take care of itself. It's hard to be a real leader as a true freshman, but it's time for him to step into that role.
In what ways have you kind of exhorted him or talked to him about things he can do to become a leader?
Didn't just talk to him. I pulled a group in the other day of some of the guys that naturally should fall into leadership roles, some guys that we're going to lean on to be the voices in the locker room, to make sure everybody's adhering to the standards that we expect. D-Jax has done a great job of that. I think the Twins have to step up. D-Cap and Lamar, Mo Berry, Matt Farniok, Bo Wilson, Jack Stoll. There's a bunch, and I'm leaving some out, but there's a bunch of guys that need to take that next step. We're going to work with them to make sure they understand the responsibilities that come along with that. Any team's stronger when the voices in the locker room are the loudest voices, and problems get fixed in the locker room. I don't ever want to run a top-down program where I'm micromanaging and running everything and fixing every little problem. The more problems that can get fixed before they even get to the coaching staff, the better team we'll have. And that responsibility falls on a lot of those guys.
Do you specifically mentor them yourself, or do you bring other guys in, or like who are the people that sort of mentor them and become good?
They get mentored all the time. From me, from the rest of the coaching staff, from guest speakers that we have come in. There's a lot of people that we want to have spend time with our entire team, but specifically our leaders. And making it clear to them what the expectations are is important. I think also giving them the ability to do it. A lot of coaches won't back off and let a player run something, be responsible for something, or take ownership of something. And I'm going to be quick to give guys ownership of things and let them blossom and see where they're going to take it. A lot of people have good ideas. We have a lot of good players and a lot of good people that are going to be in positions to be those leaders, and I need to empower them to do it.
Coach, are you curious? I'm curious, Coach. Are you open to having underclassmen captains this year? I know it's kind of a smaller senior group. I mean, you looked into that. I know that Coach Osborne, you played, it was only seniors. Coach Stoll was only seniors. But have you looked at maybe underclassmen this year with the kind of guys that have that program?
Yeah, I don't care where the leadership comes from. Historically here it's been seniors that are team captains. We'll determine team captains down the road somewhere, but there's guys like Adrian that's a sophomore that is going to have to be a leader for us. There's guys on defense that are underclassmen that are going to have to be leaders for us. So if we get good leadership, I don't really care where it comes from.
Coach, you mentioned Mo Berry, inside linebacking core has got to develop. We got Nick on campus. How's the linebacking core moving along as spring progresses? It'll have to be important.
Yeah, I think linebacker's another place we're a little thin right now. We got several guys coming in the fall that hopefully add to that. Mo Berry's got to be the ringleader for us. Expecting good things out of Colin Miller. He had a good first day. Will Honus is going to be limited because of his injury from last year. And then, frankly, we got a lot of young guys. And it's going to be great for us if Nick or some of the other young guys step up. But that's still a place where we don't have the type of depth that we hope we'll have down the road. So it's important for the guys getting reps to really come along from the top of that group to the bottom. And hopefully we'll land in a good place at the end of spring and even better place when we get more guys on campus.
What about outside as well?
Outside's kind of the same deal. Having Ace back and Ferg is a good start. JoJo had a good first day, playing more primarily outside backer for us yesterday. Need some more guys to step up at that position as well, and there's a bunch of guys that are going to get enough reps to show us what they can do. Really hopeful that we get some guys that kind of surprise us or make a big jump this spring.
So JoJo's an outside linebacker. What do you guys like about him there? He's not necessarily the biggest guy, but he made some plays last year.
Yeah, I think that was the key. When he got his chances, he made plays. And you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. We can put guys in position to make plays. At the end of the day, they got to make the play. And That was one of the bright spots about watching JoJo. Is when he came off the edge and wasn't blocked, we got sack fumbles. Saw him make a bunch of tackles. It showed up again yesterday. When he gets chances to make plays, he makes them, and I think he'll be versatile enough that he can play some safety for us. But right now, we need him a little more at outside linebacker.
So who you have at safety?
A bunch of guys. Yeah.
I know it's only one day in, but the Black Spectre possibly you brought them up. How good is it to get those guys? You mentioned Cam Jones, to get those guys off the wall, get them out of the Black Spectres, get them on the field, and get them going.
Yeah, there's some that are in our full go now. There's some that might be in those sleeveless black hoodies. They're part way back, but they're not all the way back. Cam Jones was a bright spot yesterday. I thought he started to show us some of the things that we saw on tape when we were recruiting him. Tate Wildeman is back in a limited capacity and looking really good. Casey Rogers was back yesterday. CJ's not going to be back yet. Will Honus is back in a limited capacity. We had a bunch of guys on the wall last year. There's still a few that are going to be limited in spring, but we're not missing very many. And it's every coach's hope that we finish spring the same way.
Scott, how do you see the backup at quarterback, that competition going this spring?
Yeah, I feel a lot better about the quarterback position and our depth there than I did all of last year. Obviously, we have an established guy now with Adrian. Noah Vedro is going to be eligible from day one. Had a good first day. Bunchy has continued to improve. Had a good first day. Luke McCaffrey really surprised me yesterday. I think he had about as good a first day as a guy could have. That's probably a credit to how hard he worked when he came in to know what he was doing. You're never going to be perfect when you're going through your first few practices, and we try to tell our guys not to expect to be perfect, but I was impressed by him. And then Matt Masker did some good things yesterday too. So we have a lot more depth at that position. I feel a lot more comfortable where we are right now than last fall.
As he's at the know Adrian, what's his leadership style? And as that's come out more and as he's grown, how would you describe his leadership style?
Well, Adrian's the type of kid that's always going to do things the right way. You don't have to worry about his work ethic, his attention to detail. As a leader, you got to start bringing people along with you. And I think he started to do that as the year went along last year. But we need more of that. We need him to hold other people accountable if they're not doing the right things. He's got the type of personality that people gravitate toward. So I think even when he gets on people are going to accept it and embrace any kind of coaching or leadership that he gives. I want him to worry about accomplishing the mission and winning games, and I want him to worry about taking care of his teammates. But usually as a leader, if you start out by bringing one person along with you, then two, pretty soon you're leading a bigger group. And I'm starting to see that from Adrian, but we need to fast-track that.
How's Cameron Jurgens going to have to transition to center, and is he full go with feet? Can be kind of tricky, and you have to sort of watch it with him.
Yeah, he's not 100% healthy yet, but he was a participant in practice yesterday. Did a great job in the weight room, gaining weight. He looks great. I wouldn't say he's quite full speed yet, but he's getting reps. Did a great job yesterday. Thought Will Farniak did a great job yesterday too. We're going to be young at center and really young on offense, but center and one of the guards are going to be new players, and I was really impressed with Hickson and Farniak and some others. Cam Jurgens is a guy with a ton of talent. We're going to take it as slow with him as we need to make sure that he's healthy going forward.
Hey, Coach, real quickly, circling back to Adrian, how much of your own personal experience as a quarterback of Nebraska can you translate or kind of speak to with Adrian?
Yeah, as far as stuff on the field with Adrian, he's got a great, not just good, but a great quarterback coach working with him. And some of the detail that he gets from Mario, I wouldn't be able to coach. Some of the off-the-field stuff and what it means to be a quarterback at the University of Nebraska, very few people kind of know that and understand it. I understand it. There's a lot of great things that come along with that. There's some annoying things that come along with that. But I'm going to do everything I can to help Adrian navigate that.
Coach, your wide receivers have to come along. You say you want multiple weapons on the field at once. That'd be tough for an offensive coordinator and a wide receivers coach with that much attention to detail. How important is their development for you this year?
It's important. losing Stanley Morgan is a big hit for us. Stanley was a great player around here for a long time. It was exciting to see him do what he did at the Combine. He's one of my favorite kids that I've coached, just from how he came to work and loved football. So we're going to miss Stan. It's great having JD back. He was should have been a 1,000-yard receiver for us last year as well. So it's a luxury to have a guy like that coming back. We got a ton of talent around JD, and I don't need those guys to be All-Americans overnight. I just want to see them improve. Woody and Mike, Andre Hunt, some of the young guys with Nance and Wandale. There's a lot of guys that I'm not even mentioning that I think have an opportunity to take the next step forward and be those guys for us. So that's one of the jobs that's wide open. Excited to watch guys compete for it, and if we get better as an entire group, I think we'll be a lot deeper at that position and hopefully better as a whole.
Coach, you brought in, I think, 8 newcomers to the roster this spring. What does that do to the spring, kind of bring it in? And you see more and more kids doing this every year, trying to graduate early to join you?
Yeah, it's becoming more of a thing. If kids are like me about this spring semester of my senior year, I was senioritis, ready to be done anyway. Maybe that's because I lived in a town of 1,300 people. I don't know. But, if kids want to play early in college, I think it gives them an advantage if they get accustomed to college, if they get on campus and they get the 15 practices this spring. Then you're not starting from square one come fall. You got some experience under your belt, and I think it gives you a better opportunity to compete for playing time early. There was more this year. I expect it to keep growing. But kids kind of have to have a plan for that, usually by their junior year at least of high schools, so they can start taking classes that are appropriate to make sure they graduate at semester. So I expect the number of kids doing that to probably grow.
I know after signing day you did some speaking engagements with Bill Moose. There's obviously been conversation last month about support with athletic programs. I thought I'd give you an opportunity to talk about what kind of support you've received from Bill and kind of the relationship you guys have built over the last 6 months.
Yeah, I'm as big a Bill Moose fan as you'll find. It was important to me before I took this job to know that we had an athletic director here that was going to do everything possible to give the football program and every sports program on campus what they needed to be successful. Bill hasn't disappointed me. We don't ask for anything that's, I don't think, out of line, but when we do go ask Bill for something, he tries to find a way to get it done. He's been a great support and a great resource for me, and I probably wouldn't be here if Bill Moose wasn't the AD.
You mentioned Coach DeWitt's situation on your radio show last week. If he has to miss some time, how do you, fill that void during the spring?
Well, first of all, our thoughts and prayers are with Javon. One of my first messages to my football team every spring and every fall is, boys, this is important, but football isn't life. There's more important things in life than football. Football is just what we love to do and do. Anytime a situation like this comes up, it kind of reinforces that. There's bigger things out there. He's certainly fighting a fight that's bigger than any game we're going to play this fall. In the short term, Coach Shenander doesn't have a position as a defensive coordinator. In our time together at Oregon, he was the outside linebackers coach, so whatever Javon can't do between Chins and Jack Cooper and others on our staff, we'll be able to pick up the pieces. Biggest thing is we're just pulling for him and there for him and hoping he makes it through this. Thank you, guys.